Good morning, everyone. This is Father Nate, missionary priest in Italy, and thanks for joining us today, January 5th, on No Greater Delight, our podcast on Marian feasts and Marian meditations. Well, again, we have some interesting celebrations today to keep in mind. The most interesting one, we could say, and the most noted, is the feast of Nossa Senhora Medianeira de todas as Graças, in Santa Maria, Rio Grande do Sul, in Brazil. So we should explain a little bit about how this came about. So Cardinal Mercier of Belgium promoted devotion to Mary as the mediator of all graces, the mediatrix, right? And in 1921, the Pope proclaimed May 31st as her feast day. Now, just a few years later, in 1928, a Father Ignacio Valle, who was 25, a newly ordained Jesuit priest, came to serve as the spiritual director at the seminary in Santa Maria in southern Brazil. Now, he used a Belgian holy card of Marie Mediatrice, Mary Mediatrix, and he was very much devoted to her. In fact, he inspired such faith that 2 years later, she was credited with having saved the city from armed conflict. Right? So, on May 31st, 1930, the seminary began celebrating the feast of Nossa Senhora Medianeira de todas as Graças. A sanctuary was begun in 1935, consecrated in 1985, 2 years after Valle's death, and it was today, January 5th, 1987, that the Vatican made that modern shrine a minor basilica. Right? So hence that's why we're celebrating today Our Lady Mediatrix of all Graces in Brazil. Likewise, there's a couple other events. Virgen de los Reyes, Our Lady of the Kings, in La Frontera, El Hierro, Santa Cruz de Tenerife, Canary Islands in Spain. It was today, January 5th, that the image arrived in the midst of a storm in 1546. Likewise, in Our Lady of Sorrows Church in Chicago, Illinois, the United States, that church was dedicated today in 1902. Likewise, if you go to Corsi, Italy, they celebrate Our Lady of Abundance or Our Lady of Prosperity. It starts from 1641, the feast. And lastly, on this day in 1606, a paralytic man is said to have been miraculously cured in the Church of Our Lady of Sikkim in Brabant. And those are our feasts for today, January 5th. For today's reading from the Imitation of Mary by Alexander de Rouville, we continue with Book 1, Life and Virtues of the Blessed Virgin Mary from her Immaculate Conception to the Birth of Jesus. And today we read chapter 18, it's a conversation again between Mary and the believer, although it's kind of a Marian monologue, but it's entitled Sentiments After Communion. Mary, my child, when you have received Jesus at the holy table, and he now rests within your heart, make your own the sentiments that were mine, as I carried him in my womb. The believer, Mary, no human mind can conceive, no tongue express the sentiments and emotions of your heart at that time. God alone knows them. Faith, humility, zeal, gratitude, love, and all the other virtues filled every moment of the 9 months during which the Word of God dwelled in your holy womb. Mary, my child, if you knew the value of the gift Jesus gives you in giving himself to you in communion and the sentiments towards you which fill his soul, would you lack the proper sentiments toward him? Here the creature is visited by the Creator, a beggar by the King of Glory, an afflicted soul by the Heavenly Consoler, a man who is all sin by he who is holiness itself. Humble yourself profoundly before him. Praise his goodness, which is infinitely greater than anything you can imagine. Loathe your own past in gratitude. Ask his help for the future. Promise him undying fidelity. Abandon yourself to the impulses of purest joy. Ask the angels and saints to offer Jesus thanks on your behalf. Thanks that are adequate, if it be possible, to the splendid gift he gives you. Desire that a God so good and lovable be loved and glorified on earth as he is in heaven. Open your heart to his blazing love and desire to be consumed by it. In gratitude for his blessings and to make up for your own weakness, offer him all the sentiments which have filled holy souls as they received him with devoted love in the sacrament. Offer him especially the sentiments with which he deigned to fill my soul when in his incarnation he united himself so closely to me. Think of the power of which he offers you so marvelously an example in the Eucharist. Think especially of his humility, and ask him for the grace to imitate it. In this sacrament, his humanity as well as his divinity is hidden. Nothing of Jesus is visible except to the eyes of your faith. Ask him that you may love a life that is hidden and despised, that you may flee from outward show and honors, that you may do all you do without any desire to be seen and esteemed. In this sacrament, Jesus is treated with contempt by many, and with indifference by many others who are little concerned with him, much with the world and entirely with themselves. Ask for the grace to patiently bear with insults and oppression. Such, my child, are the thoughts that ought to fill you at communion time and throughout any day on which you have been privileged to receive Jesus.
Thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoyed our Marian podcast. As St. John Paul II teaches us, from Mary we learn to love Christ, her Son, the Son of God. Through her intercession, may we grow ever closer to him. We encourage you to share this with a loved one or friend and help spread our devotion to Mary. Thank you, and God bless.